So today we're covering the mastermind principle, and there's a lot of things that we're going to cover here. And honestly, to be honest with you guys, this is a very important principle. This is one of the principles that has helped me transform my life in a pretty short period of time. And as we surround ourselves with the right people, right? As we surround ourselves with people that are aligned with our interests, as we surround ourselves with people that are aligned with the definite goal that we have, right? We're able to make things happen. We're able to take our lives to the next level. So we're going to cover what is the mastermind, what is power. We're going to cover all these little things. What is that little ingredient that you can use on a day-to-day basis to catapult your lives to the next level, right? So as we get into this, first of all, how have I even used the mastermind principle in my life? For me, when I first started my business, I had before I started my business, I had always considered myself an achiever, right? I've always considered myself someone that wanted to step up, wanted to, take my life to the next level. Always looking to feed my mind, always looking to put myself in the books, but yet I wasn't having the success I wanted. When I was looking for jobs, I wasn't getting the jobs that I wanted. I was being turned down left and right. You don't have this. You don't have this here. You don't have this. You don't have this qualification. When I was looking, when I first started, when I was ready, I was like, you know what? They don't want to give me a job. I got a job anyway. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start network marketing. And I got into network marketing, and then trying to sign people up and trying to do this and that and network marketing that. And I had a lot of failures. I was, scared. I was procrastinating. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And then I exited that business. Then at one point, I did get a job that I wanted where I was running. I was given basically the reins to take over a company and run and make the decisions that I wanted to make in that company. Yet I had a lot of progress there, yet I was still having a lot of stumbling blocks. I would make progress here, yet I would take a bunch of steps back. I would make progress there, yet I left all these little projects left undone, right? And it wasn't until finally later, like a couple years later, when I was like, you know what? I'm not getting into network marketing. I'm not going to work for anybody. I want to start my own business. I want to start my own thing. And that's when I finally, by then I was with my wife, and we started to start this business together. And so this is the first time that I ever had the power of the mastermind to help me out. The power of someone that was aligned with my goals, that was aligned with my definite goal that I had with me, it had going long term, until I put myself in this situation where I was involved in a mastermind, is when I finally experienced some success. Even the first year of that, of beginning that business, I had failure. I had a lot of losses. I had a lot of losses during that time. I still had the persistence. I had the determination to do it. And in the skills in the learnings that came from that was that mastermind was the difference for me in that case. So the mastermind is when two people come together, you create a mastermind as soon as two people come together. And so you think about, okay, what is the difference when you were by yourself and we're not? There's a lot of different things, and that's a couple of things we're going to talk about on this call is choosing who's in your mastermind, right? You don't want to choose someone that's similar, the exact replica of who you are, right? You don't want to choose the exact person or or the skills that you have. I bring certain skills to the table. My wife brings certain skills to the table, and when we came together in this mastermind, it was like, bam, like it was a lot of synergy that was created, a lot of sparks that were created. For example, my wife, she's someone that's more of a salesperson, more of a person that has this bubbly, sparkly personality, someone that has, that's able to negotiate things, that's able to make things happen in a pretty short period of time. And whereas I'm more of a person that I'm more like of a mastermind. I'm more like a person like behind the scenes, kind of like the genius behind the scenes type of thing, right? Where I like to plan things out, make sure to look at all the meticulous details, and then bam, then take action on it, right? So getting our business started, when we first got a couple key locations, when we went to expand our businesses, she played a vital role in securing certain areas for us, certain areas for us in our business, securing certain leases for us. That if she wasn't there, I would have had to find another way to do it. But I personally, like my negotiating skills aren't top notch. I don't consider myself the best salesperson in the world. I have done sales before. I do consider myself persistent. I do consider myself determined. But yet there's certain people that are born for certain talents. There's certain people that are naturally wanting to do sales. There's some people that live to be the salesperson, and they love and enjoy it. For example, I met one of my friends, a friend at a seminar the other day, And this guy is like a sales superstar. This guy, he gets hired by the best to sell high-end coaching programs. And for example, he's friends. Sharon Lecter, the author of Think and Grow Rich, hired him to sell her high-end coaching programs of $200,000, $100,000. And so I'm sitting around, and you can just see this guy's personality. You know, he's determined, he's persistent, but he has his personality. He's always been someone that's had that salesperson personality, right? And so he's going into it. He's talking about this. You know, he has a couple courses that he does relating to this. And I'm like, wow, that's intense, right? So in the case for me and anybody, whenever we're forming this mastermind, right? Whenever we're forming this team, we want to make sure we complement. We find personalities that complement each other, right? We want to find someone that complements your skills. We want to find someone that complements, you know, what you do, who you are as a person, right? And so that's what's going to help you, right? Do whatever you need to do, right? Whatever it is, and if it's finances, if it's in your health, you know, it's good to have someone that's going towards the same goals as you're going, right? If you want to be, let's say, if you want to eat two bowls of vegetables a day, right? You can contact me, for example. I do that. I'm a vegan. I only eat fish, and I eat a bunch of vegetables during the day. I start my day with a green drink, and so that I might be a good person to contact with. You wanted to help, you know, getting yourself healthy, or let's say if you wanted to, whatever it is, right? Or you wouldn't want to get in contact with someone that's eating at McDonald's and Wendy's every day, right? And I've been there, right? I've been there where I ate Wendy's and McDonald's every day. Or you want to always mastermind, get in a team, get in an environment that you guys can check in with each other. You guys can check in and say, you know what, here, this is what's going on in my life. This is what's going on, and this is what I'm struggling with, right? And so, having said that, you know, it's important. It's important to do that, right? So I'm open up the call for you guys. I just want to ask you guys a question. Who's ever been a part of a mastermind, or who sees the benefit in joining forces with other people that are going towards a similar goal, or who's had an experience where they did join forces with a business partner, or they did join forces with someone where they held themselves accountable and they were able to basically step up. You know, they were able to step up their game. They were able to step up their level to their life to the next level. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go ahead here, and I'm gonna unmute everybody. So for those of you that want to participate here, so the question basically is, who has been a part of a mastermind before? Who sees the benefit of a mastermind? Who sees the benefit and would like to, you know, who sees the benefit and that they've gotten before from a mastermind group? So I'm gonna open up the call here for anybody that would like to participate here. If you do have background noise, please mute yourself, okay? Let me see here. Mute. So anybody that would like to participate, just go ahead and hop in here.
Hello. My name is Sue Haley. I am part of a mastermind in my office, and the benefit of being part of a mastermind is because we all share our ideas, and then we hold each other accountable on what new technique we're going to use in our business, and then we share a week later, how did it go? What experiences did we have? Did it bring progress or not? And we share those ideas, and a lot of those things are ideas that would have never came up in my mind. And that's why that's important, masterminding with other people, because everybody comes with their own ideas there, and you can apply them to your business or to your life, and it steps you up to the next level if you apply them.
Awesome. And Sue, how you said Sue Haley, right? Sue. So what did how is that, for example? So like, you guys hold each other accountable, you guys share these ideas. How is that mastermind benefit you, for example? What have you gotten out of it from being able to participate in that specific mastermind?
What I have gotten ideas of how to do business in a different way. So before we started as business, we're going to start doing calls every. Hello?
Yes, hello, can you hear? Okay.
Oh, okay. It said I was muted. Okay. So I was saying that what I was saying is that we said, okay, we're going to do calls every Monday and Tuesday. We're going to do our scripts, practice our scripts before our calls an hour before. Practice scripts, then make calls. Once we do 20 calls, we're going to write it down and how long it took us, how many leads we got within that period of time, and then follow up with our numbers on Friday. We'll meet up and let's see what everybody got. And then the following week, we got another strategy. Let's do mailers. Let's do postcards. And within a month, let's see what outcome we get out of that. And then we'll meet up after a month and see what results everybody got. So everybody comes with an idea, and we apply it, and then we hold each other accountable, and then we see the results of those ideas. What is it that works? What doesn't work that much? And that's how we do it every week. Well, once a week that we meet on that.
Awesome. And do you feel like after meeting with them, like did you have a starting point where how many leads you got, and then you were able to improve after a certain time the leads that you got? Or like let's say for 20 calls, let's say for 100 calls you used to get like one lead, and then you got better, you got like more leads per call, like per amount of your calls? Or did you feel that did it help you improve that like that?
Yeah, with the scripts it helps you improve. You feel more secure or more confident of what you're saying, and whatever, to help the client the best way possible. If any objections come or any, you already know what the scripts, how to help the client.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing. Definitely. So I wanted to point out there. So what she pointed out basically is that, right, as we mastermind together, we get ideas that we would never get. You get scripts, and in her case, she got scripts. Specific scripts that she was able to do, as we get objections, in anything, in a relationship, in a business call or in a friendship, right? There's always little things that come up that are pretty repetitive, in your life that can be, sometimes they're repetitive, sometimes they're continuous, sometimes they're like very special cases, but that's what a mastermind is for, right? If you're going from a specific area, you want that mastermind to be able to help you. You want that mastermind to be able to share ideas with, to hold each other accountable. Here, this is a mastermind here with us. We're here, studying this book, and we're here just studying ideas. Someone might not even be reading the book. It's fine. You guys are still getting value from it, right? And so the important thing is a mastermind. As we apply the mastermind in anything, that's going to help you take your life to the next level. That's going to help you, snap out of like sometimes we get lazy, right? It can help you snap out of laziness, out of procrastination. For me, having my wife as a partner in that case was able to help me snap out of like, okay, maybe my old patterns that I have, right? So like, it's important to have that mastermind. It's important to have that mastermind to basically to basically be able to help each other out, right? So just like you said, all those little things add on to it. All those little things in a mastermind help us basically step our game to the next level, and it's important. So how do we get a mastermind, right? And so sometimes masterminds can be naturally made. It can come from working with your spouse, right? It could come from work. The mastermind is created there. Sometimes it could come from friends. And so like what I like to do with when I do create a mastermind, when I'm trying to look for people that have complementary skills. I'm looking for people that can work together in similar skills, and we're going towards the same goal. It might be a joint venture, maybe like a one-time project we do together. It could be something that's long-term, maybe something that we're continuously trying to grow in the same direction. We're continuously trying to improve our overall life. Here we're always talking about improving our relationship, improving our health, improving our finances, improving every little aspect of ourselves, right? Improving our psychology. A lot of people say, 80% of success is psychology, 20% is mechanics, right? Why do people pay Tony Robbins $1 million to coach them? Yet, these are some of the most successful people in the world. Yet they do it because it's like the psychology he brings to it. So that's what we're bringing here. We're bringing the psychology for it. A lot of times they say, oh, I'm not doing this because I don't know the strategy. That's BS. You know what to do. Like I when I talk to my friends, I talk to people that I'm working with, a lot of times they know what to do. They just don't flat out say it, but they might be a little nervous towards doing it. They might be a little scared, they might be a little fearful. And that happens. It happens to me. I do various techniques when I feel fearful, when I'm procrastinating, when I feel like I don't want to do something. You know, we all have that thing. We know what to do, right? We know the thing that we're supposed to do. We don't do it. You know, right? We know we're supposed to work out this many times a week, yet we don't do it. We know we're supposed to drink, X amount of bottles of water, yet we don't do it, right? And we for example, this past week, this past week, I was, I went to a UPW event back in, I think it was October. And so first day, Tony Robbins is on stage the whole freaking day without, you don't even see him like go to the bathroom or nothing. You're like, so like, I try to do the same thing this other day. I was like, okay, I know I can do the same thing because I'm constantly drinking water. I'm constantly drinking. I'm constantly going to the bathroom too, right? I'm like, shoot, like, what if I if I don't drink any water, I know I'm not going to be going to the bathroom, but I compromise my health. I was like, I'm never going to do that again, right? So, but regardless, we want to make sure that we stay on track. How is it that we get ourselves the leverage to do that stuff? So, right, last time we talked about questions that can guide us to do that, right? We want to get leverage on ourselves. We want to make sure we say, okay, then, what is it that I want? Why is it that I want it? And now what do I need to do? And if that still doesn't get you, if you know the game plan, then you need to get leverage on yourself to make it happen, right? So we want to make sure we take that into account. In this mastermind principle, it could be like, it's easy to feel like, it could be easy to feel like, okay, there's so many other principles, I'm gonna put those other two, and I'm gonna put this mastermind principle to rest for a little bit. But this mastermind principle, if you look at any successful person in their life, the mastermind principle is a key determining factor of what skyrockets their life to the next level. It's a key ingredient that skyrockets their confidence, their ability, their knowledge, right? You look at someone like Tony Robbins. He had Jim Rohn when he first started that he was learning from, and as far as also getting great advice from. You look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg. He teamed up with a lot of people from his Harvard school that allowed him to have that, and then he later on teamed up with people like Sean Parker that helped him raise a lot of money. And so he had a lot of great partners along the way to help him grow to the next level. You look at someone like Bill Gates. He had a lot of key influential people to start with, getting his Microsoft company started. And you look at all these people that have great partners to start with. And then you also have to make sure you have the key elements. You look at a company like Instagram, right? 12 people, 2 years later, they're selling it for $2 billion. How the hell does something like that happen, right? Could those 12 people have been, separate, been like one person over here not working together, and then maybe each of them would have earned, $100 million? I don't think so, right? It's the key elements, bringing key elements together, bringing key elements that would bring a team like that together. So I want to ask for those for anybody that would like to share, how would you create a mastermind? How is it that you would go about creating a mastermind? Or if you did create a mastermind, what process did you go through to create that mastermind? So I want to open up the calls here for anybody that would like to share. What process would you go through to create a mastermind in your life? Or in what area would you create it? So, or for anybody that would like to share, I'm going to unmute the calls here. If you have background noise, please mute yourself, okay?
بدي أتصور سيلفي معاك. بدي أتصور سيلفي معاك. بدي أتصور سيلفي معاك. بدي أتصور.
So is anybody that would like to share about what would they do when
شافني
what they've done to create a mastermind in the past?
Always good to hear kids in the morning. Keeps us motivated. This is Tim. How is everyone this morning?
Right, exactly. Good morning, guys. All right, awesome. Well, then if not, then a lot of people start.
Hi.
Anyway, there's a lot of different ways to create a mastermind, right? You can randomly just put people together in a mastermind, but that's not. You can randomly put people together, and then you have to weed people out, right? But the better way would be to basically, as soon as you selectively select what skills you're looking for. You want to select what's the personality. You want to analyze who you are as a person, right? I mentioned to you guys what I consider myself to be, right? what personality type I consider myself to be. I consider myself a planner, a thinker, someone behind the scenes, like kind of like the mastermind behind the idea, right? Or plan like that. And then so I need people to help me implement that. You know, my wife is a good implementer. She's a good salesperson, a good negotiator. You know, she's a good action taker. You know, and not that I'm not a good action taker, but I like to look at the details behind the things, right? So first of all, is looking at your own skill set and looking at the skill sets you want to go, right? And aside from that, well, even before that, you guys want to look at the vision that you have, right? What's the vision you have for the specific thing that you want to have, right? Is the vision that you have is you want to look, you know, you want to weigh 120 pounds, get into, you know, a size, whatever size pants you want to get into, or whatever it is. And what's that vision you have, and you want to model the right people, right? You want to model the people that you want to model, right, in your life. And then you want to surround yourself with people that may be eating the right way. You know, sometimes it can be easy to surround yourself with someone that looks, you know, thin, but they're not eating right, right? So you have to make sure they're eating right also, because some people are not eating right. For a lot of years, I didn't eat right, and I was still thin. But then it got to a certain point, I wasn't eating right anymore. I was 30 pounds overweight, and I was wondering why, right? So then I got myself, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling like crap, you know? I'm here drinking a Monster Energy a day, Doritos, Gatorade. What is this going to turn my life around, right? So I made sure to surround myself with the right people. I made sure to become friends with these people, and like, you know, I talk to them. You know, I would talk to them, just be like, hey, you know, just talking, seeing what's going on with their life, and just being around them, listening to them, got me to think like, that is kind of stupid, you know, this kind of stupid. Like, why am I living this life like that? Why am I settling for this? You know, this person is doing it, and she's saying it's so easy. You know, why can't I do it? Bam. And then a new question was born, right? A new question that got me getting new answers. And then I was looking, and I was like, okay, I can do this today. I can do this tomorrow. I can just plan a little bit ahead. I can make my own vegetables, right? I can cut these things up. I can eat them. Maybe the taste might not be like some other thing, right? But I know at the end of the day, after eating these things, I'm feeling vibrant. I'm feeling passionate, right? I'm feeling this energy, and I got used to it after being used to it so long. And after like I would go to eat what I used to eat, I would feel like crap, and I'd be like, damn, man, like I know I'm not gonna drink a Monster right now. Let me just go back to, you know, my healthy food, right? And then I will feel good again, right? And that sometimes happens, right? So surrounding myself with the right people makes it happen has made it happen for me in my life, and that's how we need to do, right? We want to make sure we make that happen. So in the book, it does talk about organized knowledge, and it talks about 3 forms of knowledge. I don't know if you guys remember what they are, but basically it talks about 3 forms of knowledge, which are infinite intelligence, organized knowledge, and the third one is experiment and research. So if we look at the first one, infinite intelligence, and we remember we talked a couple weeks back about what is infinite intelligence. It's such a weird word, right? Infinite intelligence sounds something like from a sci-fi movie, right? But basically infinite intelligence, all it refers to is visualizing what we want to get in our life. We talk about, you know, we did in the priming exercise, we did, the last part was basically visualizing 3 things that we want to achieve in our life. And those 3 things, we look at it, we experience it, we see it, we feel it as if it's happening right now in this moment. And so when we do something like that, our mind can't distinguish between what's real and what's not. You know, our mind can't distinguish. I don't know if you guys have heard of the study where they put 3 groups of people, and the sole goal was to basically improve on their free throw shots. So one group didn't practice at all. One group, you know, shot, I think it was like 100 free throws a day for 30 days. In the other group, visualized making the perfect free throw for 30 days, you know, for 30 shots. So all their job was to visualize the 100 shots every single day. So which group do you guys think came out on top? I'll tell you guys, the group that came out on top was the one that just visualized, because they visualized perfection. They visualized seeing it, making it happen. They visualized doing it, right? And so why is this something? Why does something like this happen, right? It's the visualization so important, right? That priming or whatever it is. You could do whatever it is you want. You could just visualize it without priming, doing these breathing exercises, right? But the visualizing it is going to get you to see it. It's going to get you to feel it. It's going to get you to move towards it. As you see it and feel it, it becomes believable, because a lot of things, right, wherever we're trying to take our life to the next level, you know, I don't know if you guys seen the little diagram of, like, they talk about the success formula, why people, the richer become richer and the poor become poor, is because, like, the rich people believe they can do it, then they get more success, and it's like a virtuous cycle, you know, like, and the success feeds on itself, right? And so let me see here. Oh, sorry about that. So anyway, so we want to make sure that we visualize what it is that we want to get. We want to make sure we visualize those things, right? And so that study basically points to that, and it shows us. So let's make sure that we visualize that thing that we want to get in our life, right? And so the first one is infinite intelligence. The second one is accumulated experience. And what is accumulated experience, right? The accumulated experience basically refers to whatever it is, your own accumulated experience. You can buy other people's experiences, right? You can buy a book, right? You can buy a seminar. You can go to a seminar. You can attend a one-day retreat or 3-day retreat. You guys can hire a coach. You can hire advice, you know, to get advice from someone that has what you have, has what you want, right? And all these little things, all these little coaches, you know, these seminars, they put you in a place where you're able to learn the information you want. And it takes you could shave a decade off your learning in a little bit of time, right? You could shave off, you know, something immediately in your lifetime, right? So for those of you that, I know you guys have had a lot of breakthrough courses that you've taken in books. I want, if there's anybody that can share maybe a book, a seminar, a coach, some sort of breakthrough experience you had in your life that had made you had quantum leaps in your life, or maybe it was like something that you read that made you get a little change in your life, but that little change, you know, grew over a month, over 6 months to a year, and then 2 years, and that little change that you made created vast differences in your life. So I'm gonna open up the call if there's anybody that would like to share something that some learning experience they had that completely changed their life. It doesn't have to be huge, you know. You don't have to be like, oh, so I went from being broke to living on the street to, like, you know, the next year I was living in this mansion or something like that. You can have a story like that if you want to share something like that. But if there's anybody that had a learning experience in their life that allowed them to improve their quality of life, allowed them to improve their relationship, their health. So I'm gonna unmute the call. If you have background noise, please mute yourself, okay? Let's see here.
Well, this is Tim in Illinois, and there's a lot of resources online if you want to explore details about a masterminding group. And essentially, a masterminding group has, like what Edwin shared, it has coming together for a definite object, whatever your vision is, your purpose, maybe your definite chief aim. They have that common object or common goals, but we have complementing variety of abilities of the people that we invite, and they operate as accountability partners. We motivate each other to stretch a little bit, but we also share, there's this power coming in from above. You can call it infinite intelligence. Napoleon Hill used that term. Many people that are strong believers of faith, they would say it's God coming into the group, God speaking through the group as your God sees you come together. And it has another element that's not always easily quantifiable. So auto-suggestion, any productive mastermind group that comes together for a common purpose in harmony, there's going to be auto-suggestion transferred between each members. If we think of our brains being like computers, we're always on Wi-Fi. My energy level is always transmitted to those that are close to me. So if I have a positive vibration that I'm sharing, that energy aura is going to have a positive contribution to the group as a whole. And that's one of the ethereal aspects of this mastermind group, is that the infinite intelligence or the power from above comes into the group, but also the power within each individual's positive energy is shared, and it grows, morphs, evolves into something that's greater than the sum of its parts. If there's 5 or 6 members, which are typical size of a mastermind group, when they come together, they will be amazed at how much greater their vision becomes collectively than it could be individually by adding up each individual's skills. The free throws via visualization, that was talking just about that. It was the power of auto-suggestion in the mind. And using the power of auto-suggestion exponentially, that's what a mastermind is. When you target the right people that have a common objective where you can get together in harmony and invite this infinite intelligence, this power from above, and then bring positive energy, the accountability aspect of inspiring each to stretch further than you already would, it has a real magic effect. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. And what would you say, Tim, like you mentioned that as the group comes together, the auto-suggestion is transferred between each other. Would you say, could you give a specific example, I guess? I guess you mentioned the aura, right? That everybody has their positive, that positive energy, that positive energy is transferred between each other, that the vision is grown to the next level. So like, how have you seen it, if any mastermind that you've been a part of, or that you've seen that auto-suggestion came into life? Can you give a specific example of something like that?
Well, a simple example would be a book study group like this. We're coming together with a common object to learn and apply the principles in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. By showing up every week and trading ideas, sharing what we've done to accomplish amongst one another, it plants a seed in everyone else's head to say, oh, I can do that. Explaining it in those words. Now I understand auto-suggestion is more about priming my mind. It's more about just repeating positive things until my subconscious develops that, until it becomes habit. And then it comes into practice sooner, simply by sharing. Simply by showing up, simply by being accountable, simply by letting others try and inspire us in this group. Right.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Tim. And definitely we're gonna take that into account, right? Because it's very important as we meet together here. We get different insights. Sue shares at the beginning. She mentioned in her mastermind how she gets it. She's seen the benefit of it. Then Tim mentions how he's gotten benefited from the mastermind. And so as we see it and we get to see, and we're like, okay, maybe it can work for me too. Maybe it can apply in my life too. Maybe I can benefit from it too, right? And it's all about belief. It's all about seeing others do it sometimes, right? Seeing other people's stories, seeing other people's examples. And so that's definitely an important part, and we want to make sure we take that into account. Now, so that's what we have too: infinite intelligence, accumulated experience, and then we also the book also talks about experiment and research. And what the heck is experiment and research, right? So for that aspect, right, there's sometimes that we have to just research. There's sometimes we can buy knowledge. When we talk about Instagram, went from start launching to 2 years later, they sold their company for $1 billion to Facebook. How does something like that happen? If you look at their story, Instagram story, they first had launched because when they first. Right before they launched, they had a couple failed ventures. And one of those failed ventures was they were basically modeling another app that was kind of like Foursquare. Foursquare is an app where you go and you check in. You just basically you would check in wherever you're at. You're at some restaurant, you check in there. You have this, you go and check in there. So they were modeling an app based on that. And what they found when they created that app, what people were doing, instead of checking in, people were just posting a bunch of photos, photo of a beer, photo of their plate, photo of this. And so they were like, wow, this is something cool. This is something that we can run with it. They launched another photo app, and then finally another one. And then finally they launched Instagram. And they had a bunch of things that are going on their way, right? They had great founders. They had an iPhone 4 was launching when they first launched the app. And so a lot of good things were timed in their favor. Facebook had just gone public, so they had a lot of cash to spend, right? And so, bam! Facebook launched later in that year, but there's a lot of things that were timed perfectly for them, and bam, where they're in that position where Facebook was looking to upgrade their mobile aspects and their mobile profitability, bam, there comes Instagram, you know, and they go and they buy Instagram for $1 billion. So a lot of things happen, but the leading up to that, right, they had the mastermind, right? They had those people, the people that are complementing each other. And there's a team of 12 people, right? Sell for $1 billion. You know, we have companies that have 12 employees are not even making 100,000 or something like that, right? Or let's say or 500,000 or something like that. But so anyway, so just we can look at that. Sometimes we have to experiment. Sometimes we have to research. You know, the little things that they had that experiment. They put into play what they thought would have been a hit, kind of modeling Foursquare, but they ended up with something different. So sometimes we have to venture out. We have to experiment on our own. We have to find some things, right? And so a lot of times when even though there is accumulated experience, sometimes we want to research on our own, right? Sometimes it doesn't happen with you guys, like, you know that this person has a knowledge, but you kind of want to do it yourself anyway because you want to learn through it. You want to experience that thing on your own. And that happens a lot of times too. And there's growth that happens for yourself along the way. But a lot of times we want to make sure we want to make something happen, make it happen the fastest. We want to make sure we can buy that experience. Sometimes we can read the book. We can contact someone to share their experiences with us. You know, I try to make it a habit whenever I'm having an issue. I'll reach out to my friends and I'll say, you know, this is an issue I'm having. I know you're really good at this. And sometimes it can be like for your ego, sometimes you might not want to reach out to somebody for help, right? Just like, I mean, this certain individuals might not like reach out, but at least for me, I've had a lot of trouble sometimes reaching out to others for help, right? And because sometimes I don't want to feel like, you know, I might not want to feel like, you know, I'm just taking value. I'm just going to them, you know. That's sometimes I don't mind paying for help. I don't mind doing it or taking someone else to lunch or something like that, right? So, but anyway, sometimes we have to experiment to get the knowledge we want. Sometimes we have to step out, right? Step out and make it happen that way. So another thing that the book talks about, it says this. It says the basically the mastermind is the coordination of people that are in harmony, right, between two more people. So what does the harmony even mean, right? It's just, I guess harmony is just basically refers to being, you know, someone that you like, someone that you respect, someone that you can, you know, has a likable personality. You guys agree to work together, right? And because you can't work with someone that you dislike or you don't respect. I don't know. A lot of times it's happened where we might have a coworker that we don't like or something like that, or they don't like us for whatever reason. They don't like your face, or they don't like your personality, or whatever it is. And there's that disconnect, right? For example, in my company, when I first started, I had a bunch of employees that would just not stay with me, right? I had a problem keeping employees at the beginning. I guess maybe it was lack of respect. Maybe they realized that I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? They're probably like, this joker doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I'm leaving, right? But then later on, as I got people that realized that I knew what the hell I was doing. Later on, as I turned around, like, you know, as I stuck with it and I was persistent with it, I got more picky with the employees that I had because the thing is that as I went on, I realized that if I want to, because I constantly meet with my team on a weekly basis. I have a weekly meeting every single week, and the sole purpose is just to see what we can do better, you know, and systematize it and put it in a policy, something like that, right? And so if someone is not in connection with what I'm doing, or they're not, you know, they don't respect me, or I feel that they don't like my personality or anything like that, it's not going to work, because it's a relationship that we're constantly working together, right? And so there's not too many, but there's been a few that I just felt that there was a disconnect, and we had to let them go because of that simple reason. There has to be that harmony between you guys, right? There has to be that harmony between you guys, you know, working together. You know, a lot of times you guys hear about bosses that have like a favorite, you know. I try not to have any favorites like that, but like there's some bosses that have a favorite, and that has to do with that has a lot to do with, you know, they're in harmony with each other. They're getting each other, understanding each other. And sure, maybe one of the employees might be sucking up or whatever, right? Because I had to suck up too when I was like in college trying to get the best grade. I would always like stay after class to, like, you know, ask questions, and I would do whatever the teacher said to the T so I can get the best grade that I could get, right? But and so a lot of times in workplaces it's similar, you know. Yeah, you guys have to be in harmony by kind of like that word sucking up, right? But that sometimes it can be going the extra mile so that you can be in harmony. You know, a lot of times when people message me send me a message or a text message, I always try to respond as best as I can. That kind of shows that, I mean, this is just the way I think, right? Sometimes I can't, right? I might be at work. Sometimes I can't. If you text me on a Thursday or Friday, that's one of my busiest days of the week. I can't message. I can't even talk on those days. And I probably won't get back to you I might not get back to you until Monday, or I might do it on Saturday. But if you message me on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I usually try to message right back. For me, that kind of shows that, you're in harmony. You're kind of like, you don't like have somebody wait so long for a response. And so anyway, that part about harmony is so important, because you could bring people together to mastermind together. But if they don't like each other, or if you guys have a dislike or a disrespect or something like that, it's not going to work, right? If you guys have a different viewpoint and you guys have a different end goal, then it's not going to work. You look at Mark Zuckerberg and the other person, Eduardo Saverin, they were the original founders of Facebook. Yet Eduardo Saverin is no longer a part of Facebook. Why is that? There was a disconnect. And if you look at the story, what Mark Zuckerberg says is that as they left Harvard, Eduardo Saverin went to New York for some internship. Mark Zuckerberg went to California, and they didn't get on the same page. Eduardo Saverin's role was to raise money, to raise money and some other things, and he didn't follow through with his end of his bargain, right? So little things like that. If you guys don't follow through with what you're going to say, there could be a disconnect, right? And so anyway, having said that, we want to make sure we're in harmony with each other. We want to make sure that is such a simple principle, right? But it could be a destruction. It could be destructive. You could look at a failed ventures. That's what it comes down to. If you have a bunch of business partners that are not in agreement with the direction they want to take it in, there's going to be trouble. You look at a intimate relationship, right? One person wants to have kids and the other doesn't want to have kids. That's going to be an issue. You guys want to make sure you guys are aligned, right? You guys want to make sure you guys are aligned with the end goals that you have in mind. And like Tim said here, he said, as far as experiment research, the familiarity of our group allows a safe place to try new techniques, new sales scripts, new guided visualization exercises, and get constructive feedback in non-threatening climate. Exactly. So being familiar with the group, and feeling that you're safe to be able to share what it is that's on your mind, feeling that you have the ability to share with others what it is that you want to do, right? And if you feel that, like, for example, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I used to be part of another mastermind group, and the leader of that group would kind of like to lead with fear. Like, if you guys don't do that, you kind of got ousted or you got criticized. You got publicly, ridiculed a little bit, And so if you're like publicly ridiculed for your ideas, and you don't want anybody else to step up to be a leader unless they're aligned, closely with what you're doing, people are going to be turned off by that. People don't want to be held back, And when I was part of this mastermind group, I thought I was held back. I was here. I was looking to help. I was looking to be a leader. And as I reached out to others to help them, because he had a product that he was launching, he would be like, hey, no, I don't want you helping these people because I'm launching a product like this. I don't want you talking to these people. And I'm like, I'm here trying to be a leader. I'm trying to help these people out. And so I didn't like that, I don't like to be, that's why I own my own business. I don't really like told what to do. I didn't even like college. I didn't like having to, like I told you guys, I never been, let's say, naturally book smart. I always had to kind of like study it, memorize it, and kind of like, make it stick. And then to get extra points, I would like talk to the teachers afterwards. And so like for me, it was always the little things that I had to do, right? All those little things made the big difference. That's why I was able to get almost a 4.0 graduating, right? And so it's the same thing. So as far as being in a group, you want to be in a place where you can express what it is that you want to say without that fear of being ousted, that fear of being ridiculed. There's always a discussion that could be had, right? There's always a discussion that could be had. And if you want to ever criticize somebody, it was something I learned and something that's talked about. I'm pretty sure it's talked about in this book, but I read Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Something they mention a lot in there is never criticize somebody, right? Never publicly criticize somebody. So I always learn, if there's something that I want to run by somebody, I always privately, I mention them. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I feel this way. or this is how I feel about this. But I'm not going to maybe publicly be like, hey, look, you know, what you're saying is this and this and that. I mean, that's fine. That happens sometimes, right? Or you guys, if you guys are doing it, if you guys want to make it a topic of discussion, then you could bring it to your mastermind and say, look, guys, we want to discuss this, right? So it's very important to keep that in mind, keep that topic in mind, that harmony, right? It needs to be important. And so creating that environment, like Tim said, like he mentioned in the chat, he said, you know, you want to have that safe environment where people can express what they feel, express what they feel and what they're thinking about this, right? And so, and it's having roles too, you know, having other roles. You mentioned here having a timekeeper, you know, having everybody equal value for your input, but, you know, there's just one person dominating the thing. So it's very important, you know, and it's very important to keep those things in mind as we're diving deep into this. And so we always got to make sure we keep that in mind. And so, and another thing, for those of you that have created a daily major purpose statement, another important, Napoleon Hill continuously comes back to this principle of a daily major purpose statement. You know, he refers back to it here, and it says, you know, the mastermind is, well, he says, no individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind. And he goes on to say, in the preceding chapter, instructions were given for the creation of plans. So basically, the creating of this daily major purpose statement is such an important element of this book. And maybe in the future, I might consider, you know, I might consider making a course for you guys relating to the daily major purpose statement. That way, for those that are really interested in daily major purpose statement, can take it, because honestly, it took me a while to get at least the form that I do the daily major purpose statement today. You know, I took a whole day to create my daily major purpose statement. It involves different aspects. In the book, it has a one template that you can use. I use an expanded format, and I say my daily major purpose statement 5 to 10 times a day. And what results has this statement brought to my life? You know, it's brought a lot of different things to my life. Passion in my relationship. You know, I asked my wife the other day, I was like, baby, like I was asking her, I was like, you know, what do you think the daily major purpose statement, you know, first of all, for those that don't know what the daily major purpose statement is, it's just a statement that you say every day that says your financial goal that you want to achieve. It mentions it has like a sentence or 2 or 3 regarding your relationship. You might add something about your health. You might add something about, and you add the actions you're going to take on a daily basis. You add maybe a goal in there that's past the year, and you say this with emotion, passion, and you say it right every single day. So I say this 5 to 10 times a day. There's been one time I said 157 times in a day. That's extreme, right? I never done that again. But I asked my wife the other day, I was like, baby, you know, what do you think the daily major purpose statement has done for me in my life? And she told me, she was like, you know what, after you started saying that, you know, you got clear on what you wanted, you became more passionate, you became more determined. And so, like, that's all I needed to hear. But she said a couple other things, you know, she said our love life improved. She said other things like that. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of powerful, right? You know, like, I think other people would like want to learn about this too. And so that's why I'm most likely going to create a course for you guys on this. I might do it like maybe on a Saturday. I'll probably do this on a Saturday. But anyway, Napoleon Hill continuously refers back to this idea of creating your plans and saying it, auto-suggesting it every single day. And it's such a key principle, and it's such a key idea to continue to say it, right? To continue to say it, and it's such an important thing, and it's something that could bring even more vibrancy and energy to a mastermind principle, right? So make sure you guys maybe look into that. I mean, I posted a template on the group page. I believe I posted my daily major purpose statement on the file section. You guys can take a look at mine and just model the one I have, and that'll get you started. And then say it. I'll say minimum 5 times a day if you guys, because Napoleon Hill talks about it in the book. He says do it once in the morning, once at night. But later in his life, he actually said the daily major purpose statement 5 times a day as he got into his life. And I've gotten to know, as I've been reading the Think Grow Rich book, I've gotten to know other people that say it 10 times a day, 20 times a day. You know, one person that I got to learn about said his daily major purpose statement 20 times a day for a year, and that's the first year he ever earned $1 million. So there's a lot of power in the daily major purpose statement. Whether you want to earn, you know, millions or not, like I said, it's improved my intimate relationship. It's improved my health. It's improved a lot of different areas of my life, and it's an important area to consider. You know, whenever it is, if you want to add more people into your mastermind, you know, the people that I have in my mastermind today, all a result of what I put into my daily major purpose statement, all as a result of what I've talked about in my daily major purpose statement, right? And so, is there anybody that has created their daily? By the way, Is there anybody that has any questions about a daily major purpose statement, or anybody that has said before their daily major purpose statement, or anybody that uses any process that's similar that has gotten results from saying it, or anybody maybe that has said it and they're like, I don't know if I can commit to something like that? Because, for example, Tony Robbins, for example, he used to say a statement for 45 minutes when he was working with Jim Rohn on his way to sell to, like, you know, CEO type people, you know, people that are running Fortune billion-dollar companies. And he used to say this statement over and over again. And he would say it over and over again. And basically that wired his brain, that wired his body. And we need to have that wiring of our brain and our thoughts and our emotions, you know, and as we do that, we're able to take our life to the next level. We're able to program our mind to be like, bam, you know, this is what you need to do. You get focused on it. If you're saying something 5-10 times a day, it's inevitable before it makes it happen. And when I first started my statement, it took me about 2 to 3 months for me to actually start getting results from it, right? And then things started snowballing for me, right? So I want to open up the call. If there's anybody that uses affirmations, anybody that uses the daily major purpose statement or uses it for a certain period of time, or any questions, what is a daily major purpose statement? I'm gonna unmute the call for anybody that has any questions about what a daily major purpose statement is. I'm gonna open up the call for you guys to go ahead and participate here. If you have some background noise, please just mute your call.
Okay, Edwin, you're going to have to be the mastermind group leader and start picking on everyone because everybody seems to be sleeping this morning.
Well, if there's nobody that's here, then we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for sharing, Tim. Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, honestly, this concept of the daily major purpose statement, it can be, you know, what is a daily major purpose statement, right? And then I've gone over it a little bit briefly before. And it could be something daunting, like sometimes when you think about like an affirmation, it talks about in the book, you know, saying a statement over and over again, or some people call it statements of truth. What is that statement? And it's like, okay, you know, what is that? Well, how am I going to say I'm happy all over again, right? And so like it kind of has to do with, you know, kind of bringing yourself to actually follow through with that. And so, I mean, if you don't want to do that, I mean, you can leave it leave it off the table, but I would highly suggest that everybody, like the top leaders, all highly recommend it. You know, Tony Robbins, you talk about Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, you talk about all these top leaders, top echelon leaders, they're all mentioning this stuff. And if they don't mention it, they're probably doing it, but they're just not mentioning it to you guys, you know, and this all has to do with feeding your mind. You know, you look at the studies of people that are stepping up, that are taking their life to the next level. For all those that are on this call, for example, you guys are taking some time of your day to feed your mind and say, you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth feeding my mind. I'm worth taking my life to the next level. I deserve that to achieve the vision that I want to manifest in my life. I want to be someone that steps up and takes my life to the next level. I want to be someone that makes it happen out here, right? And so by feeding your mind, you're telling yourself that you're worth it. You're telling yourself that you value yourself. You're telling yourself that you know what, I deserve to make it happen in my life. I deserve to make strides in my life. So it's important to feed your mind. We talked about, you know, before, what is it that differentiates the people that are making big things happen in their life? They did a study of people that are millionaires. You know, the people that are millionaires, it's like a 90-something, like 95% of these people are reading at least 30 minutes a day, every single day, feeding their mind. Versus the regular person is reading, like, I think it's like 10% of the day or something like that. I mean, only 10% of those people are reading. And you look at the people that are millionaires, the people that network with each other, that spend at least a couple hours networking every month. It's like 80 to 85% of these people are networking every month. Versus the regular person is only networking maybe like 15% of the population that's not, you know, making regular income is only networking a few hours. So. And this has to do with feeding our minds, right? So I'm gonna unmute the line for Andrew. I think you had raised your hand here. All right, so Andrew, I muted your line.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrea. How you doing?
I am doing outstanding.
I'm gonna unmute everybody. I want everybody to give a clap to give it up for Andrea for participating. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Woo! Thank you for participating. Let me unmute your line again. All right.
Thank you. I have a question about the daily purpose statement. I wrote mine about a year ago when I started reading Think and Grow Rich. So I haven't made it through it, so that's kind of a sign to me. Yes, you need to finish the book. Right. Also, it doesn't fit quite the same because I'm not the same.
Right.
So I just got back from Date with Destiny, and I was waiting for Date with Destiny to rewrite it, and I'm glad I did because I'm filled with just much more to offer. Is there a certain length it should be? Doesn't matter how long it is, but you know, if you want to memorize it and say it, you don't want it to be too long. But
what's a purpose right now?
Pardon?
Well, because you said you had made it a year ago. How long did you make it when you did make it?
Oh, it takes me about probably 5 minutes to read it.
Okay, and
it's pretty long.
Let's say like on a Microsoft document, how long was it for you?
Probably 3/4 of a page long.
3/4 of a page on a Microsoft document. Okay, honestly, that's just about right. I mean, you can shorten it a little bit. I would say you would want to go ahead and take the adjectives. How long would you want it to be, for example?
I would like something that would maybe a couple minutes, you know, not something real long, but full of everything that you need in there.
Okay.
But something that I could say over and over again, or does it matter? Am I attaching something to this I shouldn't be?
Okay. And why would you want to have it be a couple minutes? Like about a couple minutes?
Well, I'm just thinking about saying it, being able to learn it and memorize it and say it multiple times a day.
Okay, awesome. I mean, honestly, if that's what you want to do, I would say shorten it. Mine is just about the length of yours, but I say it in about a minute and a half, but I say it very fast and I memorize it because I told you I said it one time. I said it 157 times in one day. And so I memorize it. If you say it, I bet you if you say it, if you make it a goal to kind of just go paragraph by paragraph, because this thing is about, you know, it could be like not huge paragraphs, right? But it's like one little section, a little paragraph could be like 3 sentences long, and then the next one could be like 2 sentences, like that, right? So it could be like four paragraphs. I would say just go paragraph by paragraph. I mean, after you write it, right, or after you take out things that don't resonate with you, I would just go paragraph by paragraph and memorize it. The way I did it, in the way, because I didn't sit at home and do this stuff, right? I was driving while I did this. So like I would have it a laminated copy, and while I was at a stoplight, I'll just look at it and memorize like one paragraph. Okay, I'll make it a go. Okay, you know, this week I'm gonna memorize 20% of it, and then I would look at it and say, okay, I memorize, and then I told other people I'm gonna memorize 20% of my daily major purpose statement this week. And then people would be like, oh, awesome. And I'd be like, okay. And then I would kind of like overdo it. I'd probably memorize like 50% of it, right? Because once you memorize one part of it, the other parts become easier. And then after that, after you say that, and then once you memorize it, that's when you can say it 5 times, 10 times a day, 15 times. But like if you don't memorize, it's kind of difficult because then you kind of have to be sitting down. You kind of have to take time out of your day. But if you drive, do you drive on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, I live in a rural area, so everything is driving.
Okay, awesome. So you drive. And so like, for example, after you make it, I would say laminate it or just print it out, right? Just print it out. And then see, like if you're at a stoplight, just see if you could just say, like try to memorize the first paragraph or something like that. And then I think that will get you going, right? Where you can start saying this statement over and over again. If you start memorizing this. And so like, anyway, so do you think that you would be able to do that, print it out?
Oh, definitely. And thank you. I feel like 2 months ago, I feel like 2 months ago, I was born at UPW, LA.
Right.
I honestly, so thank you. I know that seems like a pretty basic question, but it's life is completely new for me, and I'm very excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrea, for sharing. And so definitely thank you guys. I mean, we're here about to finish up here. And so, okay, hey, let me open up the call for, I think, Tim, you were going to ask something here. Let me see here. All right, Tim, were you going to mention something?
Yes, for myself, when I do affirmations, a lot of times in my mind, my subconscious just automatically says, that's BS.
Right.
It doesn't make me feel stronger. It doesn't make me feel more motivated. It doesn't program my subconscious. Now, some people would say, make the affirmations smaller. Rather than think about the BMW Alpina sedan with the 500 horsepower engine, just think about a used M4 or a used M5 and start a little smaller if you're looking for affirmations in material goods, as an example. So you can downsize the affirmation to make it more believable. But I've been told by psychologists and transformational thought leaders that about 1 out of 200 people, or 1 out of 100, maybe 1% of the population, something gets reversed in our brain whenever we try to do positive affirmations that are not yet true, and they just won't work for us. So there's a technique called tapping, or EFT freedom, where you take your fingertips and you tap on the meat of the palm of your hand 35 times before you do any internal self-work. And for some reason, this tapping reverses the energy flow in our body and reverses this negative idea in our brain that we're never going to be able to achieve our affirmations. Let me see if I can turn the video on. Sorry, I'm still hanging out in my PJs, everybody. Basically, you take the meat of your hand right here,
right,
in your fingertips, and you tap 35 times.
Right.
It could be 40 times, or for most people it might be 30 times, but you tap quite a few times. And this EFT Callahan, exactly. I forgot the guy's name. I think there's another gentleman named Craig that does the same thing with the emotional freedom technique, EFT, and this tapping technique. But I've been doing this, and it allows my daily purpose to get seeded into my brain much more effectively. Whenever I do any self or internal work that's likely to be reversed, any positive affirmations, any creative visualization, I always do this tapping technique before. A lot of times when I'm going into a situation where I want to start a dialogue with someone, whether it's just to invite them to a mastermind group or to say, hey, I'm working on these transformational coaching techniques and I need a few guinea pigs. Can I experiment on you? If I'm doing something that scares me, that I'm stretching, that's outside my normal realm of experience, I do this tapping technique.
Right. Awesome.
And it reverses it in my brain, and it tells me I can get through this. And then we'll just experiment and check the results. Thanks.
Right. Okay. Now, thank you for sharing, Tim. And yeah, and honestly, I feel like, Tim, for you, would you say, like, I feel like I would say that we can anchor a lot of different feelings that we want to have happen. We can anchor a lot of different different things that we want to have happen, and we can anchor. And what I mean by anchoring, for example, Tim said that, he looked into the EFT and they talk about the tapping. And so, like, for him, every time he does that, he taps the meat of his palm, to his hand, is something like, okay, his brain is like, every time he does this, something is about to go down, right? So, like, we can always train ourselves. It could be that technique. It could be something like a snap of a finger that kind of puts you in state. It could be a move. I learned at the UPW LA event that Andrea was at. You can make a move. I make a move in my chest when I'm about to start something. I kind of just tap my chest and I put point my fist out, right, just to kind of get in the state. I'm about to have a conversation with somebody. I kind of take some deep breaths. Sometimes I jump on my rebounder and I just kind of make my move. I make it a couple of times just to get my physiology there, get my strength there. So to add on to that, doing the affirmations. I didn't ask Tim, but why does it? So we asked Tim probably a couple more questions. We asked him, why is it that you don't feel the affirmations in your work? We can look at something that happened there, but regardless, if there's something that you could always do things like that. You could do the tapping, you can replace it. But I would say at the end of the day, something that Tony Robbins says is, you know, affirmations are when you go, you know, don't do affirmations, do incantations, because affirmations, a lot of times people think like they'll go read a paper and say, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, or I love myself, but there's no physiology behind it. There's no emotion behind it, right? There's no like, you know, there's nothing behind it. There's just kind of like words. And so like I would say if there's just words behind it, it's not going to work, right? You kind of emotionalize. You have to feel it. You have to feel that passion. You have to get your body moving, your hands moving. And when you say it, that's what's going to make it real, right? But if I kind of come here and I say, you know, I say whatever statement I'm going to say, and I kind of like say it in a BS way, or kind of like I'm bored, you know, my body's going to be bored when it's not going to believe me. It's going to be like, okay, you're BSing this, right? So anyway, I'm gonna finish there. We're gonna finish there for the day. So I want to thank you guys for making it on the call today. I definitely hope you guys got a lot of value from this. That, you know, a lot of these principles is something that you can apply today. There's a lot of these principles, a mastermind principle, a lot of things that you can apply. You know, if you're already applying it at your work, that's awesome. You know, and I would challenge you. See, is there another area in your life that a mastermind would be useful in? You know, is there another area in your life that a mastermind would be useful? Is it for your business? Is it for your health? Is it for a relationship that you have? Is it for a relationship that you want to have, right? I would challenge you guys to say, what if I don't already have a mastermind, what mastermind could I create, right? What mastermind, what skills do I have, and what skills do I want to bring into my mastermind? And look it from there and take it from that perspective, right? And then make it happen, right? You guys deserve it, right? You guys, you know, will definitely impact your life. You look at all these people that had all this great success in their life. Mark Zuckerberg started with Eduardo Saverin, and then Sean Parker, and then you look at people like Bill Gates. He surrounded himself with key people getting his business started. And you look at Google, started with Larry Page and Sergey Brin. You look at all these people, and you see that they had key people that surrounded themselves with it in that, right? And obviously they weren't famous back then, but it was two people that came together to make it happen. It was two people that came together that had visions that were aligned together, right? So having said that, guys, we're going to end the call here. And I want to thank you guys for making it on the call today. I don't know if there's any final questions that you guys were going to add on here. If not, I want to just thank you guys for making it on today's call, all right? Thank you very much for making it today.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day, all right?
Woo! Woo! Great call. Great call. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Great call.
Okay, all right.